The face changes. The face becomes masculine. The voice changes. The voice becomes masculine. The behavior changes. You remember out there in the desert, Sinai, not the hospital in Manhattan, when Musa alayhi salam had brought the water up, gave to the sheep, he's tired now, he goes take some shade under a tree. Lord, help me, I need some help. And then the girl comes back. My father wants to thank you for what you did. He wants you to come and have a meal. But Allah describes how she approaches him. She's bashful. She's shy. Uncle Sam's daughters ain't like that anymore. And after Dajjal has destroyed her femininity, he also destroys her fertility. She can't have babies. So now she's got to go to the clinic, the fertility clinic. And this guy comes along, this Dajjal, and tells her, after all of that, he tells her, you come a long way, baby. Imagine that. So now she has to go to the woman down in the hold of the ship, so that her womb will become a factory. And she's paid for her services. And when the baby is born, of course, during the 9 months, make sure you drink bottled water, mineral water. And don't eat that stuff, eat organic food and so on, because that's a first-class baby inside there, you know. And then the baby is born and the baby goes first class, and mama remains in the hold of the ship. It's already here. It's already here. This surrogate parenting is already here. Why pay $70,000 in the United States when you can go to Bangladesh and get it for $7,000? You can go to India and get it for $7,000. Huh? So you have to open your eyes and see. You have to take a little time to see. And when you look, you must look with nur from Allah. And then you'll see the slave woman giving birth to her mistress. And so there is a spiritual requirement for the study of the modern world. And in that spiritual requirement there is an epistemological requirement. The Prophet said, every prophet has warned his people about Dajjal, and the Prophet Noah warned his people about Dajjal, but I am going to tell you something no one ever said before me. Dajjal sees with his left eye, he's blind in the right eye. It looks like a bulging grape. Between his eyes on his forehead is written the word kafir. And every mu'min will be able to read it. Whether the mu'min is katib or ghayru katib, literate or illiterate. Dajjal is going to travel on a donkey. The donkey will travel, because he's going to ride on a donkey. The donkey will travel as fast as the clouds. The donkey will have his ears stretched out wide. Dajjal is going to step into the water and into the ocean, and the water will reach him up to his knee. Dajjal is going to be jumping between the heavens and the earth, not the heavens, the samawat, the skies and the earth. The earth will deliver its treasures to Dajjal. In this retreat you will learn that that moment when Dajjal will appear in human form in Jerusalem and declare, I am the Messiah, and then rub his hands and say, mission accomplished. It's not too far from now. This child should live to see it. But on that day when Dajjal stands up in Jerusalem and declares, I am the Messiah, what are you going to do? when he has two eyes? Are you going to say, no, you can't be Dajjal? Because the Prophet said you have one eye, so why don't you have one eye? Huh? And what are you going to do when he says that he is the Messiah, but he doesn't have a flying donkey? You're going to ask him, where is your flying donkey? And what are you going to do when if he steps into the ocean, he goes sinking down right down? Huh? If he steps into the ocean, he goes down. Come jump, let me see how high you can jump. And he jumps and he can only jump 2 feet. But the Prophet said that you will be jumping between the heavens and the earth. We have an epistemological challenge here. If you insist that there is nothing symbolic in Islam, in the Qur'an and the Sunnah, requiring interpretation that has not been interpreted by Allah and His Messenger, nothing. Everything which had to be interpreted has already been interpreted. On that day, you'll have to say to him, you are not Dajjal, when in fact he will be Dajjal. But on that day, we who use a different epistemology, taught to us by Surah Al-Kahf, in the passage between the encounter between Musa and Khidr alayhi salam, we would know that knowledge comes not only externally but also internally. And there are some subjects which are covered, mastur. And Allah at the proper time would raise the cover. And we will then have to interpret. How would they know 1400 years ago that all these people here use the flying donkey to get here? They all came by flying donkey. This is our interpretation, that the flying donkey is the modern aircraft. But since it is our interpretation, you don't have to accept it. You could sit down and wait for the flying donkey, and we're not seeking to embarrass you. No. This is our interpretation. If we are right, good for us. If you are right, then keep sitting on the sofa, waiting. Knowledge comes not only from external sources, but also internally. On 3 occasions, Musa alayhi salam used externally derived knowledge. The boat, the boy, the wall. And on 3 occasions his answer was right. And Khidr alayhi salam, وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مِن لَدُنَّ عِلْمًا, who gets knowledge not only externally but also internally. He gives the correct explanation of all 3. So we say that Dajjal sees with the left eye, symbolizes external sight, the scientific method. And Dajjal is blind in the right eye, it symbolizes internal blindness. And Ambassador Rose spoke this morning and will be speaking again. This is what the secularization of education and knowledge does. It reduces it to one eye. In fact, if you could see 2 eyes, you're not going to succeed as a politician. You'll be fired as a minister if you can see with 2 eyes. And on his forehead is written the word kafir. The reason why Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu could read it, but Abu Jahl cannot. It's not because there's something defective with Abu Jahl's eyes, because Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu is seeing with the internal eye.